Hey, how you doing? Just doing a little geology there. Okay, here we go. We're going to get back to English and grammar. Talking about something you can use in your writing and also something they'll anticipate you knowing on the GED. You don't need to know the name of this phrase, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. It's called a subordinate clause. The definition is a subordinate clause has a subject and a verb, but does not express a complete thought. I'm going to repeat that. A subject clause, a subordinate clause, has a subject and a verb, but does not express a complete thought. So, for instance, here's a sentence. My life sucked until I passed the GED test. This little thing, until I passed the GED test, that's a subordinate clause. Here's the subject, is I. Passed is the verb. But until I passed the GED test doesn't have a complete idea. It's not a complete idea. You're waiting for something else. Here's the independent clause. My life sucked. Until, and the rest of the thing, until I passed the GED test. When you have a combination of independent clause, my life sucked, and a subordinate clause, until I passed the GED, that's called a complex sentence. Let me give you the complete definition. A complex sentence contains an independent clause and a subordinate clause connected by a subordinating conjunction. The subordinating conjunction in this case is until. So, my life sucked until I passed the GED test. That's a complete sentence, that's a complex sentence, and complex sentence means your writing is pretty good. Is that okay? Your life might not suck though, but when you pass the GED test, your life will get better. Okay? Let me use some ideas from subordinating conjunctions and how they're used in a sentence. School ends after June. After June. Right? The conjunction is after. School starts before September. The subordinating conjunction is before. I will get rich once I pass the GED. You're starting to get the picture. Once is a subordinating conjunction. You can do a subordinating conjunction at the beginning of a sentence. For instance, since I got my stuff together, I'm straight. Since is the subordinating conjunction. Until the sun rises, you're all mine. Until is the subordinating conjunction. Here's a little story. I'll go home when I want. When is a subordinate conjunction. Yeah, but while you're here, I hope you have a good time. I hope you have a good time is the independent clause. This is the subordinating clause of while you're here. Put them both together. While you're here, I hope you have a good time. Okay? All these sentences are proper sentences. All these sentences are complete sentences. None of these sentences are run-on sentences. They all use a subordinating conjunction. Now it's your turn. Put these sentences together using the words either after, the word before, once, since, until, when, or whenever. In other words, subordinating conjunctions. Here are two sentences, but I want you to put them together if you can. The first sentence is, I like going to the store, and the second sentence is, I get hungry. So the only thing you have to do is find one of these words and put it in the middle and do the correct punctuation. Here's one example. I like going to the store whenever I get hungry. I like going to the store when I get hungry. Slightly different meaning. I like going to the store before I get hungry. That's my thing. Why wait to go to the store? You know you're going to get hungry sooner or later, so go into the store and knock it out. Why get hungry? Now, the lazy person, I like going to the store once I get hungry. It's a little too late. I don't like being hungry. Okay, let's try another sentence. Put these sentences together using, there are more of these subordinate conjunctions, in order that, so, and so that. Here are two more sentences. I walked away from the conversation. I didn't have to show my other side. For those of you who don't know, if I didn't have to show my other side, that means I didn't have to get angry. I usually act nice, but I didn't have to show my other side. Anyway, let's put these two sentences together using these subordinating conjunctions. I walked away from the conversation so that I didn't have to show my other side. Or, you could say, I walked away from the conversation so I didn't have to show my other side. Or if you want to get real formal, I walked away from the conversation in order that I didn't have to show my other side. All three of these work. All three bring these sentences together. The GED loves when you get rid of shorter sentences and combine them into a longer sentence that has more flow to it, and there's some causality between the two things. I walked away from the conversation. I didn't have to show my other side. You want to show the relationship between those two sentences and combine them into one sentence. Now, use a comma after the subordinate clause at the beginning of a sentence. So when you put the subordinate clause at the beginning of a sentence, you have to use a comma followed by the independent clause. Here's an example. When it rains, comma, my hair goes back home. In other words, my hair gets messed up. Or whenever it rains, whenever is a subordinate conjunction. Whenever it rains, my hair goes back home. In other words, my hair gets messed up. It's a phrase that some people used back in the South a long time ago. But I like putting it in here to give you a cultural education along with your GED education. But we'll also do this with science and math and other things. Try to combine different things going on. Okay, since you're so smart, put these sentences together using where or wherever or if at the beginning of a complex sentence. You go is a complete sentence because it has a subject and a verb. You go. I'll follow because I'm a stalker. Let's see how we can make this work. We're going to use if the first time. If you go, I'll follow because I'm a stalker. Or you could have said, wherever you go, I'll follow because I'm a stalker. Now, I'm not really a stalker, and I don't know you like that. I'm just saying this is how the sentence works. Again, put this sentence together. This time you can use unless, whether, or although, or since at the beginning of the complex sentence. I'll get my way. I'll be very, very happy. This time I threw something else in. These aren't two sentences. This is actually one sentence with a comma in the middle. But this is incorrect. When you put two independent clauses together with a comma, that's called a comma splice. I'm going to give you, it's the last example I'm going to give you, but it's an interesting example. So here's the answer. Since I get my way turns this into a dependent clause or subordinate clause. I'll be very, very happy. A slightly new concept, the comma splice, with the same result. I hope you find this educational and elucidating. Thanks a lot. See you next time.